Want to know how to make a Papel Picado banner with Cricut? In this step-by-step tutorial, I will also show you some tips on cutting such a delicate material. And at the end of the video, I'll share a featured blooper. Hi, my name is Kim with Kimagine DIY, where I hope to help you imagine the possibilities with DIYs and crafts. If that sounds like fun, consider subscribing. Now let's just jump into the materials that we will need for this project. Here is the website for the free JPEG. If you would like to know how to download and upload files into Cricut, you can just click the tutorial right up here. So in the upload process, I just wanted to go over this part because it's not a SVG, it's a JPEG. We're gonna click Simple to upload it, and we're going to use the magic wand to remove all of the background. Just have to click all the white areas, or pink in this case, to make it transparent. Then you can just click the preview button to make sure that you got everything that you needed, so it will cut out cleanly. Once you click continue, I'm going to save this as a cut image. And don't forget to title and put some tags in there so it's easily searchable for later. Now that we have a transparent background, this image is still an image. So if we go over to the contour button, we see that we don't have any options because it's not formatted as an SVG. We're gonna go to shapes, click rectangle, resize it so it can cover one of the entire banners, and then select both layers and slice. Now you can see the other banner piece is complete and by itself, and we just do the same thing to the other three. So now that we have all the pieces separate, I wanted to do 8 pieces for the banner. So the slice cuts I'm keeping. And now I just colorized all of them to the materials that I have. And then I placed it in color order that I wanted it to hang, and to make sure I'm not making the same design line up right next to each other. So now that I have my design idea, I'm just going to select them all, hit align center to center, and then resize it there because I want my banners about 8.5 inches in height. It resized most of the banners, but after I clicked each one individually, I saw some of the widths weren't the same, so I made them all identical dimensions. Now here comes the tricky part. Since this image was originally a JPEG, it didn't think about how a die cutting machine or my Cricut machine would cut. Especially since this is a hanging banner and it's not multiple layers, certain items on this photograph is not going to hang well. So I used a lot of the welding feature to make sure parts of the image would stay connected. And I felt some of the designs were a little too intricate for my tissue paper. So I just made them more simple by welding over some of the designs. And here on the yellow banner, you can see how I altered this image because you're not gonna have that yellow circle hanging in the middle. So we actually have to slice that out. I just used the shapes and circle, covered all the pieces that I wanted to cut out, and then you actually have to select them all, weld it together, so you can only have 2 layers, and then you can slice it. Now that I have all my pieces altered for my liking and my cutting machine's liking, let's go to the cut settings. I'm just gonna click Make It. And since you have them in all separate colors, it's very helpful because Cricut separates each color but on a different mat. So you know exactly which material to load in next. And then we're just gonna go to Browse Materials, type in tissue paper, and for me, I actually needed less pressure. I'm using my rotary blade. With my research, that was the #1 request. When laying your tissue paper down on your light grip mat, you want to be very cautious because it can easily tear and wrinkle. And I use my braider to help flatten it out. But for this design, I wasn't too concerned about it being perfectly flat. I don't think you can actually get it perfectly flat with tissue paper. Here's the machine cutting it out with the rotary blade. I have to show you at the end of the video what my mat actually looked like after doing all these cuts, because I actually cut out 16 squares, but I'm just showing you 8 pieces here. Same thing when it comes to weeding, you want to be very cautious, pull extra slow, and you also want to be very mindful. You can't really do the flip the mat over and peel back because it's such a delicate material. So as you're peeling up, you have to make sure you're not actually quilling the paper or curling it when you're pulling up. And I'll show you an example. One tip for weeding tissue paper, first remove the larger bits, but I'm just using a lint roll and it helped so much removing the paper from the mat. So here's an example of one banner where I'm very impatient pulling it up. You can see how a lot of the bits curled over. And on this side, it was a lot slower, and I used my spatula to help peel everything to try to keep it very flat. And because this is gonna hang so high, I still wanted it to look tidy. So for the peeled up banner, I just used some Scotch tape to help lay things flat again to make it look more appealing. So for the string for the banner, I had some extra jute string, so I'm using that. I always like to keep at least 2 feet of string at the end, but it depends on where you're hanging it. Then I'm also using just some double stick tape to attach the string to the banner. Because tissue paper is so thin, you don't really want to use glue because it's just gonna tear up the paper. And then for my taste, I wanted 2 inches in between each banner. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love how it came out. It's a great decoration for Cinco de Mayo, but it also brought memories from the movie Tangled with their banner. And if you've ever been to Animal Kingdom in Asia, they have these types of banners throughout. It's something so beautiful and the project's so versatile. Don't forget to watch the blooper at the end, and I will see you guys next week. And make sure the designs are not right. The similar designs are not